Hi guys, this is God Family Community Podcast, and I want to welcome you to another show. A couple of quick topics I want to touch on. One is Kandi and Todd, Russell Wilson inviting a friend over for Thanksgiving, the 50 Cent documentary, and a situation I might share with you all of instant karma taking place with me that I want to share with you all. So I would say please look at the disclaimer at the bottom of each show regarding me covering entertainment and stars. So for the Kandi and Todd situation, I love me some Kandi. Okay, so she, Tiny, and Portia are just original OG Atlantis and Georgia Peaches. They really embody that down-to-earth, homegirl, girls type personality. The original Atlantis are known for. Here is where young girls can learn from this situation. Upon looking at their relationship unfolding on TV, I think the warning signs were there for Kandi. Todd didn't want his daughter. One thing I noticed is that Todd didn't want his daughter to have anything. That was like a major warning sign in regards to his relationship with women. And good Lord, this is like a layered topic, and I can speak on it for hours and hours, but I don't have the time, obviously, for now. But I will say, as a man of means and with money, you should want better for your kids, and you shouldn't want them to struggle. Granted, I can understand if you don't want to just give them anything, but how he wanted his daughter to struggle when he had the money to give to her was pretty telling. Another thing I noticed, which was an even bigger red flag, is how he kept complaining about money. It was almost like he was trying to manipulate her and set up a situation to make her believe that she wasn't, quote unquote, allowing him to do anything. This is something I noticed. This is similar to how when a woman with a job and a house or apartment moves a man into her home who has no job, and then he starts mentally and emotionally abusing her and has her believing in the long run that, something is wrong with her. And she starts believing it, not realizing this was the play the entire time to break her and manipulate her. And to thinking that is, there's something wrong with her. So I saw this with Todd as he was like bickering with her about money in the scene when Kandi was getting her makeup done by her stylist. It was like he was trying to flip the situation to make her believe that she was stopping him from getting and making money, and him kind of insinuating that with him just coming into the picture of him meeting and marrying Kandi, that he was the one that was contributing to all of her businesses and her business ideas. So it was like he was just trying to set the scene and trying to make her think a certain way. And I noticed how when they got married, how quickly he tried to do like the joint businesses with her. This was probably his play the whole time. And I think both married women and men should take heed of this. When you get married, whichever person is a little more successful, I hate using that word, but see how quickly the quote-unquote less successful person tries to do a lot of joint ventures and businesses with you upon getting married. So that's that on that topic. But I think the warning signs were there, and I just hope Kandi all the best because I really like her, and hopefully this can be settled behind the scenes without it being even more public, and hopefully this isn't something for the that was done just for the show Atlanta Housewives. Next, I'm going to speak on the Russell Wilson saga situation where he decided to invite an old football teammate to his Thanksgiving dinner with his family. And then the guy, his ex-teammate, went to the blogs and gossiped to blogs and media and the whole world about Russell Wilson's family members, basically negatively complaining about them and his experience at the Thanksgiving dinner. And man, this was a betrayal. Like, this was like, who does this? I mean, just the way that he did it was really concerning. Yeah, it was the way that he went about doing it. One thing I noticed and picked up, and it could be learned from this situation, is that why did Russell Wilson invite this guy to eat food with his family, knowing that the guy was arrested for beating his girlfriend allegedly? So there's a history of domestic violence with the guy that Russell Wilson had invited over to to eat with his family, invited him to eat with his family. So my question is, Russell Wilson, why did you even continue associating yourself with a man like that and invite him over to your house to eat with your family, knowing he had a history of domestic violence? So I really think that all of this could have been prevented, and a lesson that can be taken from this, especially when it comes to the African American community, is to stop associating yourselves with members of the community who's bringing forth harm to others in our community. We continue to associate, be friends with, and provide shelter to people who are harming and no good to the community. And so, one of the things we're very good, compassionate people, but on the flip side of things, very forgiving people. But on the flip side of things, we have a tendency to keep bringing people amongst us and within our circles who continuously do harm to us, to individuals. And so I think we just need to look at that as a community and make some changes. The third topic I wanted to speak on is the 50 Cent documentary. Everybody's talking about this. And when I've seen the documentary, but there's good reviews on it. And from what I've seen is a lot. We've heard a lot of what we've seen in a documentary kind of play out throughout the years. So, but I think they had very good storytelling. It kept you hooked. I would say I always liked 50 Cent. Just hearing his life story and the adversity he overcame. I always had just a lot of respect for him and high regard for him. So this is kind of like a layered situation too. What's important to focus on regarding this matter is that a light was shown on a very problematic behavior that has affected many concerning the person of topic in this documentary. I definitely admire 50 Cent for taking a stand, but I would say he too may want to be careful, because although he may be used as a face to push forth, what Diddy was doing, they may in the long run, come after him. So hopefully that's not the case. But hopefully, just matters are resolved. Another thing I noticed too is just the amount of degeneracy. This highlighted the amount of degeneracy within our community, our tendency to continue to be used, our tendency, like I just mentioned with the Russell Wilson situation, how we continuously associate ourselves with individuals with very bad and poor character. And that don't bring any good to the community. People that are involved with a lot of wrongdoings, we have a tendency to associate ourselves with them. And so as I was looking at the documentary, just seeing all amount of people and the lives that he affected and how they turned a lot of them some of them had no choice but to turn a blind eye to what was taking place, because it appeared that Diddy wasn't really held accountable, and he had pretty powerful people that kind of helped him out and looked over what it was that he was doing to other people. So I could kind of understand why a lot of people weren't able to speak out. But it just showed, again, just the amount of degeneracy. And you could tell that a lot of people, there's a lot of guilt, because they realized that they were used, they were used by Diddy for certain matters. And you could tell that there's just a lot of guilt there, especially with the guy that had ownership in the company. You could tell he had a lot of guilt, because he was writing down what was taking place early on when he started the company with Diddy, and how he probably aided in a lot of things that took place with people's lives that were affected, such as the Tupacs and the Biggies, and how he had to rent cars and, book hotels and things of that nature. So I'm sure he's looking at all of this and like, man, I had a hand, in, a lot of these individuals' lives and demise. So hopefully, they just get right with themselves, and hopefully, they make it right with themselves and others that they harmed. Now, one thing too I noticed is that, all of the African Americans or black people saying that he's trying to take another black man down, 50 Cent. I think it's important to stop and to not say that, because again, the wrongdoings and the problematic black people amongst the community needs to be called out, and we have to stop dealing with these people. That being said, Diddy's not going to be the problem. The problem now will be the people supporting his behavior, and advocating and siding with him, and most important, the people working for him, if you know what I mean. So he has a lot of people working for him, a lot of people that have been abused by his hands, that they too will become abusers themselves. So we could hope that won't take place, but I think we kind of know how the story goes. The people everywhere and throughout the cities and states of America who will take money from him, these are, the people, everywhere throughout the cities and states of America who will take money from him to harm other people. Just think about this, and those people that are amongst us are, who are also anonymous and can even be a person strategically placed in your life to eventually harm you. So that's what I was thinking about in relation to Diddy, Puff Daddy. He has so many different names. Just people that are working for him and people that are advocating for him, and just turned a blind eye to his behavior and the harm that he did to others. And so I just think about that, and this is what makes this person dangerous, and people like him dangerous. He has gotten away with so much of this behavior for so long that he has amassed a gang of people who know who he is, and they will work for him. Yeah, so that's that on that. And what I do my last and final topic is I want to share with you all a situation that took place with me that was pretty much instant karma. So I was at the store, and this lady, she was at the register. I think she was new. And I had my groceries in, obviously, my buggy. And then there was like one person that was I think it was one other person that was in front of me. And then, but they didn't have that much stuff. And then there was another person that was at the register that was, making payment for, trying to make payment for their purchase. They had a box, though, that had needed to be open. And so the lady at the register, the cashier, she had to call someone to help her because I think she was new. So I'm like, wow, man, this is kind of taking a long time because I had my wine in my buggy and I was just ready to go home and have me a glass of wine. Had been a long day. So I took my stuff. Obviously, my body language was that of impatience. So I took my stuff and I went to the other register. And so the people that needed help getting their box open, they were still there. So the cashier had to call someone else over, another cashier, to help her and show her the steps to open the box or take the device off the box so that when she walked out, there wouldn't be any noise. So I was like, okay, well, let me just go to another register. I was able to go ahead and pay for my things. And as the lady was putting my items in the bag, one of them being a bottle of wine, it hit the buggy and the glass bottle had busted wide open in the bag. So there was like wine everywhere. And so she's like, well, go hurry up and get another bottle of wine. And I had to get some other items because the wine had wasted all over the other items. So here I was being impatient, and I had to walk all the way back to the back of the store to get the other items again, being impatient just because I wouldn't wait there for the cashier to call another cashier over to help her take the device off of the box. And so when the wine bottle had busted, the other people that were waiting at the other register, they was like, you could kind of tell that they were looking at me and they were like, yeah, it's karma. But the moral of the story is that it was just a moment of impatience. And I thought about how, the girl that had to call another cashier over to help her, I thought about how maybe that probably could have, when she saw me go to another register, how that probably could have, affected her. And she probably could have gave up and decided not to no longer work there anymore. So our actions, believe it or not, it does have impact on other people. I shop there pretty regularly, and I haven't seen her there since. But the moral of the story is just, impatience, being patient, and understanding that, our actions affect other people, because she probably could have got discouraged when she saw me go to the other register rather than just waiting there in line for her to finish with that particular customer as she was trying to get the device off the box. So, I just think about how she probably gave up on that job, and it was probably a job that she needed, to pay her bills. But who knows how many irate customers she could have dealt with that day. And then I was probably the last straw. Even though I didn't say anything to her, or I really wasn't irate with my body language. I just happened to just walk over to another cashier, but that probably could have been the last straw for her. And that, just something I thought about. So, yeah, patience is very important, and it's a virtue. So I wanted to share that story with you all of just an instant karma. I had to walk all the way back to the back of the grocery store to get the wine bottle and other items again. Something I didn't feel like doing. But yeah, so this is God Family Community Podcast. I will see you all on the next one.